Hey YouTube, 3D Printed Life here with the Eclips3D. Gonna just do a little test print today, and I can guarantee you it's gonna work, because if it doesn't, I'm gonna restart the video. But anyway, this is it idling right now. The extruder is actually heating up. You can tell by that little light. So you'll hear the fan on the power supply ramping up and down. It automatically adjusts based on the current it's drawing. I actually have a spatula over it to kind of simulate what it's going to be like, because it's going to be upside down. The fan is going to be blowing on the ground just a few millimeters away, so it won't be nearly as loud as it is when this guy's off like that, because it's not going to be blowing out into the open and up. It's going to be blowing down. And then this fan up here is pretty quiet. I have a few resistors down there, 50 ohms, to basically cut the power in half, because the fan draws about 50 ohms. Or it has 50 ohms of resistance. Anyway, let's get printing. So again, just a little warning. This is the first prototype, and I really didn't change anything yet. The extruder has a bit of wobble because it's only held in by one bolt, which should be held in by two, but parts didn't line up. The bed is done. It has little thumb screws down there for adjustment, which is pretty sweet. These bolts are just kind of glued on. I think I'm going to stick with this design because how it is with the heated bed, there's really no reason to remove it, especially considering I can lower it all the way down in a matter of like 2 seconds. Like if we come up here, G1, Z, I don't want to crash it, so 180, F6000, and it's all the way down. So there's absolutely no reason to make it removable, because it's easy enough to drop it all the way down, get in there, put tape on, scrape off your print, whatever you want to do. And it can go a little bit lower. I just didn't go all the way. Let's bring it back up. G1, Z, hold on, Z0. And it's all the way back up. You'll notice there is a tiny bit of a whine, but this is really only audible when it's not printing and the steppers are powered up. You may not even hear it on the video. It is slightly obnoxious, but once it starts printing, you don't hear a thing. So let me start this print. And it's going to heat up about 20 degrees more, just because I didn't have the preheat settings all the way up there. So yeah, again, I can't stress this enough. This is just an early prototype. It doesn't even have these top rails on, and none of the parts have been optimized or reprinted yet. It's going to have a booger in it. But the one thing that you can tell immediately, and the one important thing, because it's really hard to change, is how quiet it is. I mean, you can hear me talking in the background, and this thing is just, it's working away, and it's just a whisper. When it gets faster, it makes a little bit more noise. You'll notice that in a little bit once this print progresses. But really not much at all. I mean, this thing is dead silent compared to the old 3-up. And it's mostly due to the bushings over the linear bearings, and the fact that these guys have little neoprene vibration dampers, which actually I found help a lot. Like feeling vibrations on the motor versus on the frame. There's nothing on the frame, there's a little bit on the motor. And on top of all that, it's got 1/32 microstepping. So here we go. This is going at essentially full print speed for a small print, and tiny, no noise. Again, there's like a little bit of shimmying and stuff, but I mean, this is still an early prototype. That's probably going to go away. So overall, very impressed. Now, while that's printing, I did have one problem. I actually printed this calibration piece, which came out really well. There's some rippling on the walls, as you can see. Well, actually, it's kind of a lot. But as you can see, when it slowed down up top, they pretty much went away. So my theory is that has something to do with either the loose extruder, well, most likely the loose extruder, shaking back and forth at higher speeds and stuff like that. Because as you can see, it varies depending on what part of the print and what side. So I'm guessing that it's the fact that the extruder is so loose. The arc actually came out really well. The one side didn't stick, but it still actually did almost the full arc. It came unstuck. And the pillars are fine. They are all nice and uniform, and evenly spaced apart. No problems with them really, so circles are fine. But the one problem that I was noticing coming up you can see in this one, is this diagonal banding. And curiously enough, I measured the pitch of this banding. Along this bottom edge, it's about 2.7 millimeters, which really isn't significant. But if you measure it diagonally, if you go perpendicular to these bands, it's 2 millimeters exactly, which makes me believe it has something to do with the belt. But the problem is, I have no clue what it could be on the belt. Of course, my first assumption was something to do with this belt crossing mechanism, and the fact that before I had these belts flipped around so that the ridges were going against the pulley. So I was thinking, oh, maybe it's riding up on the ridge and then popping down and doing that over and over. But I actually flipped this belt here so that the only parts that are on the pulleys are the back sides of the belt. So there would be no impact from that. And that goes for all of the pulleys on the whole printer right now. They're all on the back side of the belt. And that didn't seem to fix it. So I'm not exactly sure what the problem is at the moment. But my plan of attack is going to be, first of all, reprinting this whole guy pretty much to be proper, to be, well, to securely mount the extruder to the extruder gantry would be a start. I also do have to tighten the belts more. They are way too loose, as you can tell by all the little movements in the belts when it changes direction. But again, that shouldn't really be the problem, so I'm not positive what the problem is exactly at this moment. But I am confident I'll figure it out and I will extinguish the problem. Some more good news, looking at these prints, is that there is zero vertical banding at all. There's like nothing. Vertical layers are perfectly lined up. It's a little deceptive because of that horizontal striping, but there is no vertical banding at all, which is awesome. And that's what you get when you use high quality bearings, high quality threaded rod, and a flexible coupling all together with metal brackets and stuff. High quality stuff, so that's awesome. The Z bed, I did find it to be a little bit more flimsy than I expected, and that's mainly due to not the fact of the aluminum warping, because that thing is not warping at all, trust me, but just because of the fact that those linear bearings have some play in them. That's just the nature of them. However, it didn't seem to affect prints negatively in any way, except for when I was running it at crazy fast speeds that are faster than you'd ever be printing, and it was doing hexagonal infill, and it was making everything shake like crazy. But, I mean, that was a previous test at way too high of an acceleration, way too high of a speed, and, yeah, so that just caused issues. But I never expected it to print as fast as I was testing it, so whatever, it's fine. I didn't mean to break this piece either, but I like to break things. As you can see, I did that with another one too, just a habit. So anyway, this guy's still printing another 5 minutes. I probably won't talk all this time. I'll skip to the end. But yeah, I'll just let you guys watch the printer for a little. I will be putting lights on it. The position is to be determined. What I'm thinking, I don't know. I really don't know, because I don't want to blind people with the lights, but I don't want them to not shine on the print. So what I was thinking is either going along these inside bars, or even maybe the top, and probably not the top, that'll make shadows. Either these bottom inside bars on both sides, or doing these inside verticals on both sides. Or doing both, although that would be a crap ton of light. That would be almost too much light. And then I definitely have to include a switch for the lights, and I don't want to do that because that's just extra wiring, and that's complicated. So right now I'm leaning towards lights on the verticals. My only main concern with that is that it won't light up the bed when it is all the way up. So for that reason, I'm thinking of maybe putting a little segment of 3 up here in the middle, and then line the sides or something. I don't know. It's really difficult because this piece gets in the way, so I can't just do them across this bar like I did on the 3 up. That worked really well on the 3 up. But I might do like 2 sections on this bar or something. I don't really know yet. I'll figure that out eventually. That's not too important. Well, it's kind of important, but you know. So anyway, this guy's printing. It seems to be doing well. Have minimal artifacts. I do apologize that it's dark. Again, once I get those LEDs in, it will be much better. And also it won't focus, which doesn't help. There we go. So yeah, my impressions so far with this printer are that huge amount of potential. Still a lot of work to be done, but that was to be expected. But I am very confident with this printer and its ability to deliver on what I claimed it can deliver, and that is hopefully beating Ultimaker quality prints, Ultimaker quality noise level, which I believe I'm at right now. I don't know how much quieter I can honestly get. This is insane. And Ultimaker speed, which I think I'll be able to get close, if not beat it. And all of that for under $1,000, definitely. Don't know the exact price yet. Looking about maybe $750 for early birds on Kickstarter, $800 regular. But that stuff is still to be determined. Focus, you stupid camera. Why is it macro? Whatever. So yeah, so all that stuff's to be determined. I'm going to... It's done in 2 minutes. I guess I will just skip to the end when this thing's done printing. See you soon. Alright, so it's done. Thank you for watching this far if you are watching. No, it's a long one, but lots of good stuff happening. And sorry I missed the ending. I love when it's like, it finishes, then it goes, and it's done. It's just amazingly fast on the Z-axis compared to the 3-up. So it's like, every time I see it, it's just like, wow. So right now I'm also printing on an it is a heated bed. It's a Mark III heated bed, but it's unheated because it takes too long to heat up, and I am impatient for testing. So here's the part. So not bad at all. Again, you can see rippling on the corners, but once again, the extruder is literally held on by one screw, so that's to be expected. Rippling there, but other than that, it's not bad. Top layer is fairly smooth. Again, extruder is held on by one screw. Can't stress that enough. Bottom's decent. I could have started a little bit lower to maybe join the layers a little bit better, but overall, not bad considering this is like my 5th print on this brand new printer that's using a pretty new, and I guess you could say revolutionary, belt crossing mechanism that hasn't been done before. So pretty happy with the results so far. Definitely about what I expected, and hopefully I can figure out whatever that little banding issue is shortly, because I would love to get that worked out. So now I have to print out big guy here so that I can use this Z end stop bracket. That's what this is, by the way, a Z end stop bracket, because I am tired of setting the Z distance by hand already. I have an end stop going here, which I have to adjust a bit, and then I have one that is going here and there, which I just have to put a trigger for on this piece on the other side. So making lots of progress, lots of stuff's going on. Should be getting these aluminum panels in the next day or two so that I can put those guys on, and then I will eliminate that variable from this being so flexible, and hopefully that'll boost the quality a little bit more. I'm going to print out a new one of these guys so that I can finally have a not shaky extruder. I mean, if you look at this, I mean, it's moving a lot, and that's not applying very much force on it, so yeah, that is something to be fixed, and I believe that's it. So lots going on, big mess of wires. We'll clean this up, I promise you. When, I don't know, but yeah, so that's what's going on. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more Eclips3D update stuff. Definitely a lot more is going to be coming soon, and hopefully I will have this printer up and almost fully assembled and working how I want it to be working in the next week or two. I'm impatient, so I'm going to be working fast and hopefully getting everything done as soon as possible. So that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you later.